Hello everybody, I'm Chuck Cassidy and I'm a musician. For the past 20 years or so, I've played roughly 400 live gigs in 4 different countries in various pubs, bars, parties, fancy places, and some of the worst toilets imaginable. I've been treated like a rock star, applauded, admired, and also been treated like the shit on the bottom of your shoe by some club owners and patrons. So, what countries are the best for playing local gigs? I thought you'd never ask. Well, obviously I can't answer that on a global scale, so what we're going to do today is compare 2 countries where I've had some substantial gigging experience, the United States of America against Italy. Which one is better? Now, we'll base this cage match on 6 different categories: show promotion, PA system, sound check procedures, accommodation of the band, audiences, and pay. Now, obviously, I'm not talking about international touring acts that play arenas. Instead, I'm referring to your local cover bands, tribute bands, even your local original bands that play in small places and are hoping to have a good time and make a little extra money. Also, to be fair, I'm not talking about places like Austin or Nashville that have a long established musical tradition and half the audiences are tourists or business travelers. So with that in mind, let's kick this off. So for round 1, we will discuss show promotion. Now, in a perfect universe, this is 50% the responsibility of the band and 50% responsibility of the venue or business owner. So if a business owner wants to have a successful evening, he or she must promote on their social media just as well as the band does. And social media, let's face it, is where most of the promotion will happen. In Italy, when you call to book a gig somewhere, if you'd like to play a nice venue, the question you get is, okay, what kind of music do you play? And do you have a social media page? You tell them, and they say yes, and they say, oh, we like that. We like that kind of music. Let's book a date. Announce it on your Facebook, and we'll do the same on our social media. Whereas in the USA, the question you get is, how many people can your band draw? Leaving no responsibility on the part of the lazy business owner to promote his own business or any interest in helping local bands in the community. In Italy, you often have to bring your own PA, sometimes even to music clubs, and sometimes a band member's wife has to operate the soundboard during the show. This adds at least a couple of hours of work due to the additional setup required. If there is a sound guy, it comes out of your pay. In the USA, you bring your own PA only to birthday parties and barbecues. Sound technicians are usually provided and paid for by the club, but they're usually stoned. In any case, this gives a slight edge to the USA in this round. So in Italy, you have to arrive at the venue by around 5 o'clock because there's always dinner and you have to be set up and sound checked before dinner starts. What that means is then you have to sit around for 3 hours after you've done sound check, trying not to get drunk before you go on stage. In many cases, there are only 1 or 2 power outlets for the whole band and PA system and lights. So that means you have to daisy chain 5,000 watts of power through a single outlet, but rest assured, there is no risk of band members starting on fire or being electrocuted, they assure you. At a minimum, you hope nobody trips over the main power cord during your set. In the USA, you might get a sound check, you might not, depending on how many bands are playing, but if you show up between 7 and 8 p.m., to a plethora of outlets on the wall, about every 6 feet apart, according to local building codes. Show starts at 9 or 10, depending on the size of the lineup, and you're home by 2 a.m. In Italy, you usually get a free meal before the gig, and even maybe a beer or wine. In the USA, you get nothing for free unless you're Aerosmith. You're there to rock, not eat. In Italy, people actually come to your shows, even if they saw you last week. cheer even if you suck. In the USA, the audience usually consists of the other bands you're playing with and their girlfriends. If there are no other bands, then you'll be playing for the bar staff, the sound technician, the town drunk, and the village idiot. In fact, there are usually more power outlets than spectators. And then you have the jealous hecklers, the ones that got cut from their junior varsity football team back in high school. Bass players, you know how to play the bass. You guys suck! Okay, well, we've got an exciting match so far. Going down to the wire. Can the USA pull off a tie in the final round, or will Italy execute a stunning upset of the USA? Let's see. In Italy, a decent cover band with a modest following can expect to earn between 200 and 300 euros for an evening. But you seldom get paid before 3 a.m. because they make sure it's the absolute last thing they do before they close up shop. It's annoying. So it's a 10-hour day, any way you slice it, for about 40 to 60 euros per band member. If you play with an original band, you can expect a little bit less, somewhere between 50 to 250 euros, depending on your following, how long your set is, and how many other bands are there playing with you. But they do feed you, so there's that. In the USA, only cover bands that were formed before 2010 can expect to be paid more than beer and gas money. There are a small handful of successful cover bands in my native Chicago that can still ask for about $2,000 per show, but they are few and far between, and most of them were formed in the 90s or even before. If you're an original band, you play for exposure and the mere privilege of providing entertainment to the paying customers of the bar and club. Don't expect any money until you've played every weekend for about 5 years and developed your own following. And even then, you might get about $500 if you're lucky to split between the band members. So this last category is a tough one to call. Who do you think pulled it off? Did Italy pull off the upset with a 4-2 victory, or did it end in a tie 3-3? Let me know in the comments. I'd like to hear your thoughts, and have a good one.